Welcome to CarSceneKorea. I introduce newly released Genesis, Hyundai, and Kia cars. And as you saw from the thumbnail, the cars I have side by side next to me is 2026 Hyundai IONIQ 6 Facelift and 2026 Kia EV4. Both cars are made from EGMP and they are the first EV sedan from each brand. And this actually is the first EV sedan from Hyundai Motor Group, and this is the first EV sedan from Kia. Perhaps there are more differences than similarities other than these two cars being the EV sedan, and I'm here today to tell you everything about it. So let's go take a look one by one. And for detailed reviews and information about each car, I have many videos on the channel already and more coming with the IONIQ 6, so please refer to that. So let's get into it. Other than the fact this car being the Hyundai and Kia, the biggest difference between the two will be that IONIQ 6 is based on rear-wheel drive, whereas the EV4 is based on front-wheel drive only. IONIQ 6 is also offered in all-wheel drive, being able to have dual motors, one on the front and one on the rear, including the numbers, specs, and performance of the vehicle, single motor and dual motors on the screen right now. And whereas this EV4, there is only single motor front-wheel drive, only one option with the EV4. So that difference alone is actually really big enough. However, there is the all-wheel drive coming with the EV4. So there will be the GT variant, which is currently being test-driven in Korea under camo as we speak, meaning there will be ultra performance for this vehicle as well. Yet, with the IONIQ 6, there is already the IONIQ 6N that's been revealed. It is the second EVN from Hyundai, and it will be the fastest EVN out there. Honestly speaking, fastest car from Hyundai Motor Group. So you can see, going over all these things, there are a lot of similarities yet differences between these two cars. Both of the cars do have the sedan form, of course, two doors and a typical sedan, if you will. However, proportion-wise and also the design theme each of the car derived from is definitely different. It is inspired from pebble and water droplet for the IONIQ 6, so we see more of a smooth curvature around the car all throughout, whereas with the EV4, it has that hatchback-like design to it. And if you know, you know, there is also the EV4 hatchback version, which I met back in Germany and I did the review on the car, but come this Korean market, sedan shape is the only variant we get in Korea. And me being a previous Veloster and owner, meaning that I used to own a hatchback, I actually have to give it to the EV4 hatchback. Roof spoiler and double scoop we see on the top. It's not just for the looks, but it is for the function as well. So design follows form. That is the phrase that I really like. And lower the city, always the better for EVs because it contributes to NVH, noise, vibration, and harshness, as well as the driving range. EV4 has 0.23, and that is very low for an EV, yet that crown and title always has been the IONIQ 6's thing. I mean, look at the curvature and the streamliner design the car has. IONIQ 6 has whopping 0.206 CD. Thanks to the facelifted design, it's actually even lower than what it used to have. The rear bumper and the front bumper has been elongated in order to achieve that number, as well as the whale tail spoiler delete for that flush look on the rear. So refer to my review for more details if you want to find that out. So compared to the pre-facelift model, IONIQ 6 Facelift has 55 millimeters longer front and 15 millimeters longer on the rear. Once again, that gets all contributed to upgraded CD coefficient of drag. While we're at it, the wheelbase of the IONIQ 6 is 2950 millimeters, whereas the EV4 is 2820 millimeters. The wheelbase, if you didn't know, is the distance from the center of the wheels to the wheel over there. And the wheelbase is one of the most important things when it comes to the interior and the legroom, the space inside, because longer the wheelbase, usually it's translated to more cabin space inside. It's not really a fair game for EV4 just looking at the wheelbase alone. And also the price tag on each of these cars says the same thing. I'm sorry, EV4, I know it's not a fair game to come up with today's video, but I have these two cars readily accessible, so I had to come up with a video, of course. The IONIQ 6 on the left, a lot of people praise about the facelifted front look, and the EV4. So EV4 has that digital tiger nose as well as the star map signature lighting. Connect all these dots, it gives you that constellations. IONIQ 6 with the Hyundai look, having the horizontal looks, although it's not the seamless horizon lamp, unlike the Sonata we see on the left, it has that Hyundai look and overall vibe to it. Now the dual motion active air flap has been embedded to this facelifted IONIQ 6. Not only just opens up, but it gets tucked in, so it has dual motion, giving that flush look when the active flaps are all open. Whereas not so much of a fancy tech for EV4, but definitely gets the job done. And there of course is the active air flap for EV4. If it wasn't for details like these, adding all these things up together, neither of the IONIQ 6 nor EV4 would have gotten this whopping driving range. EV4 had the title of the longest driving distance range of the EV from Hyundai Motor Group. That is 533 kilometers with the 17-inch wheels and 502 with 19-inch wheels. And the car we have here has the 19-inch wheel, I believe. Yes, 215, 50, 19-inch wheel right there. And the IONIQ 6, 245, 40, 20-inch wheels and tires on the front. So looking at that, there is already 30 millimeters of differences between these two cars in terms of the front tire, and that actually means a big thing. Again, speaking of the crown and the driving range, EV4 had the crown. That's until this IONIQ 6 facelift came out with the driving range of 562 kilometers, which remains to be the longest driving range from Hyundai Motor Group. I want to tell you more about it, but I am running out of time, and I already do have a thorough side-by-side comparison walk-around video of the two, so please refer to that. The trunk, the buttons located right here, all automated of course, and with the EV4 it is located underneath. I can feel the rubber, and when they are opened up, it certainly gives a different vibe. Look at the opening, it's because of the design. Definitely has the typical hatchback opening and design to it, and that's how much space we can expect to get on the EV4, whereas this is the entry we have for the IONIQ 6. I don't want to say it cheated, but EV4 certainly has much smaller wheels and tires to get that number, whereas the IONIQ 6, that 562 is together with the 18-inch wheels and tires. There is a good reason why the IONIQ 6 actually is a great performance car, which is something that I've gone over in all of my videos. I'm not just talking about the facelift, but also the pre-facelift as well. Once again, I'm sorry, EV4, it's not a fair game because EV4 definitely has traits and advantages over the IONIQ 6. Well, number one is definitely the price tag, and there are people who just simply doesn't need a bigger car like the IONIQ 6, and EV4 is more than enough for their daily lives and needs. Aside from the exterior, there's also differences in terms of the interior as well. Biggest one, except for the obvious, such as different layouts and design all throughout, I want to point out the theme exclusively to Kia. And Kia is collaborating together with NBA and many professional sports teams and leagues. I say that because it's constantly updating. EV4 is gone. Let me tell you more about the IONIQ 6. Uniquely, IONIQ 6 is the smooth drive mode. If the term motion sickness is not something that you correlate with EVs, well, Congratulations, and I am one of them too, but there are a lot of people who suffer from severe motion sickness because of the nature of the EVs. However, don't worry no more, because IONIQ 6 Facelift now comes with what's called smooth mode, and it literally is the drive mode that allows the car to drive smoothly. And all of this has been approved with my wife Dima, who suffers a severe motion sickness. I felt all of that myself as well. I really want to and highly encourage you give that mode a try. It is something that makes this IONIQ 6 Facelift unique and stand out. And aside from the smooth mode, there is also the iPedal 3.0. I talked so much about this, and thankfully both of the IONIQ 6 Facelift and EV4 got the technology. It's different from the iPedal 3.0 in a sense that the Smart Region 3.0 detects the vehicle obstacle in front of the vehicle and is able to put the car into a complete stop. And that actually is a day and night difference if you use that mode in rush hour traffic and constant traffic jam areas. As far as the interior is concerned, like I have said, except for the obvious, there is something that I want to point out, and I think I can show you more about it from the second row seat. So number one is the headroom as well as the leg room. And leg room, it's purely because of the wheelbase differences, and the headroom, well, the headroom is all possible because Hyundai did a great job of fooling our eyes with the gloss finished area. So this profile side proportion design kind of fools our eye into believing that that is the door opening as well as the windows. However, when you open up the door, you'll see we have that much extra right there, right? The body color. So that gets translated into extra headroom inside. Don't forget the fact that this is a sedan after all. I did see a few comments saying that the headroom could have been better, but it is one of the best one out there, considering the fact that this is a sedan. And I am saying a true sedan design, not those self-claiming EV sedans that just pretty much looks like a CUV. So despite the disadvantages that EV4 has over IONIQ 6, the physical size and everything, EV4 still provides a surprising headroom thanks to that double scoop design. They've done a brilliant job, as well as the hatchback design. Kia did a brilliant job over there. I have to give that to EV4 and Kia for sure. Yet again, IONIQ 6 being able to and managing to get that much headroom with all this streamlined design, I mean, I have to compliment both of the cars over here. The biggest difference in terms of the center console is the IONIQ 6 has the good old typical center console like that, whereas the EV4 actually has the center console and the armrest that opens up 180 degrees, allowing you to have a mini table when extended. IONIQ 6 comes with this wide panoramic sunroof. And that is certainly wider and bigger compared to the EV4s, which look something like this from the outside. So you can see that it is a true wide panoramic sunroof. And there also is this smart zone, and it literally speaks for itself. It is a smart AC which utilizes the seat sensors and other sensors inside out of the car to know where people are sitting, and it optimizes the AC control, which gets yielded to the higher driving range and more battery efficiency. So that's it for today's video, going over 2026 Hyundai IONIQ 6 facelift as well as 2026 Kia EV4, both of the cars being the first EV sedan from each brand. Once again, a disclaimer here, today's video wasn't necessarily to give you which one is better, but just giving you a side-by-side comparison and pointing out distinctive characteristics that each of the car has. It was not a fair game for Kia EV4 because IONIQ 6 is larger, bigger, and it costs more. And it's also the latest car. However, both of the cars being the only EV sedan from each brand, I just wanted to give you a side-by-side comparison. So that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe CarSceneKorea if you did. Your #1 source of KTM, Genesis, Hyundai, and Kia cars. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Before I let you go, I did bring this up. I mean, I had it on my notes and thoughts, but I forgot to mention it. That is the charging speed. Both of the cars are made on EGMP, Electric Global Modular Platform, first EV dedicated platform from Hyundai Motor Group, but IONIQ 6 offers 800 volts, whereas EV4 only offers 400 volts. The difference is that, of course, it is the charging speed, and I'm not on the fastest charger, so the speed is not the fastest. However, when you find the right charger, this IONIQ 6 will charge from 10 to 80% in 18 minutes. And you can see I have about 60%, 20% to go, and that will charge in 12 minutes using this charger I have over here. By the way, this is what the charger looks like in Korea. The charging speed is about 89 kilowatt per hour. The more time I spend, I guess I see more and more. IONIQ 6 actually gives 100 watts of charging speed inside, and not just the first row, but the second row as well.